How's it going? Master Xeon here, back again. And this one should complete the polygon modeling portion of Project Logan. And my tablet is working again. So, it's draw time. So, first thing we're going to do is set up a new grease pencil layer. And just make some notes here. Like here. This part is primarily flat, except for right here where it begins to flow up. This part of the eye definitely is farther out than the bottom one. Also, we need to model this piece right here. I think we captured that segment pretty well. And let's see. But however, this part I'm not so proud of on our face. I spent a long time looking at it, so I thought of a ton of things we could be fixing. And it's all these small things that will add to it in the end. The other thing is the nose. The nose on our model is just not long enough and just not flat enough. This bow may not be as present as we wish. This part may need to box up a little more. And this part is still the front of the nose, but it's facing down into the portion that's going to be going into the face. Also, there is kind of a flat kind of look here that we want to try to emulate. Also, the forehead to about here appears to be rather flat, and then it begins curving back to here, in which it dimples slightly here. And down here, let's see what we got. So, right here, we have this, which comes in to the corners of the mouth. We also have this part, which is slightly rounded and begins smoothing in. Now, if you understand what I mean, then you probably are starting to get it now, but breaking it down into simple geometric shapes of dimples and indentions is key to obtaining the desired result. Because since this is a tutorial, we can't, cop out and be like, alright, close enough. No, we are going for the gold. Now right here, this part I feel is pretty flat in there. However, we continuously are losing our T in the mouth area. Now this part comes up into it, which we are going to try to put back. Also right here, we see it bows in slightly in this area, but this here is all good. And so is this part. Alright, and so the cheeks are flat right here basically, and right in here is a tricky shape. There is a lot of flatness here. There's also a little bit of a bow there, just a curve kind of coming out some, and we pretty much solved ours by just going like that on our model. But these are some notes that will help us in the long run, or at least some things to consider. Mainly though, we need to build this. We also need to do a couple of things to the eyes. Now, whenever it comes to guides on how to make realistic faces, the first thing that comes to mind is this website, which I'll put the description in the video. And so he pretty much goes over in this video everything as far as good reference images, lining up references, pretty much all the stuff we did. Topology, bad topology that gets the job done, good topology that's good for everything, as well as an explanation of all the stuff that I mentioned before. So this site is definitely a fantastic read. I read it when I first started 3D, read it when I got better, read it again recently, and it's like every time I read it, my skill level is increased enough from the last time that I'm able to learn even more and do even better. And this kind of stuff is essential for, improvement. Some tutorials you watch once when you start, you watch them again when you've made more eureka aha moments, and it just helps you out. Look, they have pretty horrible topology in this here too, at least right there. But see, it's just an error. But this page is definitely worth a read. So now we are back to the head. Let's take a look at some things. So the cheek, are we pleased with the cheek? He does have that little bend right here. However, for the eyes though, we are going to do something I've never done before. Well, I mean, besides delete an edge loop, which I think I've done before. Let's see, Control Alt U. That brings up the user preferences, Control Alt U, in case you're tired of seeing me go up to the menu. We're just going to turn on screen cap keys because it never ever does it for me. Now, after this video, I believe that, well, maybe not after this video, but after the next one, once we get the modeling portion done and we're down to texturing, I will be putting this on blend swap, so you'll be able to get both the reference images and the model itself. So the first thing we need to pay attention to is, alright, so the first thing we want to fix here is the nose, which we can just do that by just spreading out this so we can get that flat area that we outlined. Just push them out on the X. We're almost to the sculpting level, which will determine all the pretty much level 2 details of this. And depending on the sculpt and how far we deviate from, the actual wire here, may even do retopology. However, I doubt it. I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to get it right. We'll be able to do it good enough on this level that we don't have to do retopology. But that comes to another topic, which retopology is something that a lot of people don't like or don't care too much for. I love it. I think it's like second chance, You cut a cube, get the shape you want, come back, lay better topology. It's definitely worth spending some time with. So this, just smooth out the forehead. Now to deal with this upper eye. Alright, so how to do this? Edge slide. Let's look at his eyes in the corner. We see there's an overlap between the bottom lid and the top lid. There's also this crease up here. Now we could crease it all the way around, but this is a good opportunity to use something from that web page I was showing you, that folding page, and just make some modifications. And hopefully this won't be too disruptive to what we're going for. Alright. Right here, sculpting will smooth that better. Grab these three, bring them in, bring that in. We'll bring this one to the back. And we'll just even these out a bit. Maybe bring that one in a little bit. Bring that one out. We're starting to get a bit of a mess here, but that's okay, because there's nothing that we can't straighten out. We'll just bring that down, smooth that a bit, smooth that a bit, and everything is still in flat mode, so when we put it on smooth, it'll definitely begin looking more complete. But that was one detail I was wanting to add. However, I may think the execution of it later. But a diamond quad is a good way to put a crease in something. Yeah, the diamond quad is a good way to put a crease in something without having to do a whole lot of redesign. Now, there's a portion of the eye. Here, first unwrap. Let's go over here. There's a side projected. Here's a front. Let's see. We'll just put on the mirror image. And our projection is restored. And this is actually looking a lot better for just a flat image, even though more realistically, if we turn on textured solid, then we get a more realistic idea. However, that shows it in all its glory. Looking a lot like the head we set out to create. Alright, bring this out, bring that out. There's not a whole lot of direction here. It's just by eye that you're choosing what fits right. What looks good. I think it looks a little skinny, but we'll do most of our modifications in perspective mode. But to focus on the original goal, we need to get in here. Pull this out, this extra loop, and bring another one. This one will be pushed in. And we are building basically the start of the inner eye area. We'll just alright. If we do a little bit of smoothing here, we can get a little bit more controlled. This part isn't so overbearing, but it's definitely important when it comes to the eye. There we go. So now we have it more manageable. We'll go ahead and pull this out. Keep our bottom lid in check. Our upper lid, however, is farther out than the front. I think that's on all humans. So we definitely want to emphasize it just a bit. And this is just artistic taste. And see, the eyes now appear like they have just a little bit more volume than they did previously. The next thing is to definitely bring this out. And from here, we'll switch to draw mode. And what do we want to do about this? Because the T shape isn't there because it's not built there. We could add another edge loop and just go from there. But no, we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to make do with what we have, because we should be able to accomplish our goal within the means that we've set up. And at this stage, redefining geometry completely is not a very plausible option. However, we do have an opportunity in front of us, and that is to take our knife, cut from here, and we could probably use one more loop just right here in the nose. But how does that solve this? Well, it doesn't. How to get rid of this single try? How to get rid of this single try? A couple of ways. We're trying to think of the best way. Let's just delete it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Is that a better place to have a triangle? No, it's not. But we'll slide this down, put another loop in there. And this diamond quad is not in a very good place, I don't think. But we will leave it there. We will also use a knife and connect here. B, middle mouse button, unselect. Slide that. We'll also and let's see, what do we have here? Is this the correct shape for the lips? Let's take a look at our reference. This area we detected was just a triangle, which then converted to a flat plane pretty much. Let's see, do we have that? Heck no. Alright, E, Y, S, C, Shift H. We're going to go ahead and put a mouth bag in here too, just in case we want him to talk or open his mouth or something along those lines. So that's just an inner extrusion. See how we're doing on time. 20 minutes is not bad. There we go. Now it appears the sculpt brush behaves like the texture brush, where your selection and edit mode makes it behave a little different, or just pretty much makes your selection unselectable. I didn't see that in the changelog, but whatever. Alright, and starting to look a little simian. We'll definitely be having our work cut out for us when we're sculpting, but we have a pretty nice form here. We could totally do away with this thing too. That's a bit excessive, is it? Or do we just put our problem back again? Yeah, because we're not wanting to just go that route just yet. See. Edge slide. Alright. So that is looking better, except the lips look like he's about to begin crying. So I'm going to bring that bottom out. That looks like he's smiling. We'll just make sure it lines up with our front reference image. Maybe that wasn't the best route. Alright, so we have this, but this is the important one. And so E, Y, S, Z, S, Z, S, Y. Alright, E, Y, S, Z. So how far are the teeth from the mouth? Well, far enough for me to know. Then we should probably put this about here. We should Control plus, Shift H. And now we have only the lips. And only the mouth bag. And mouth bags are good. You don't want, I think it was something I first read about in 3D modeling, beginner's guide. It wasn't really aimed at software, but it just pretty much explains the ideologies. But that was when I first heard of the concept. Alright, and we'll just E scale, pull it back, turn off textured solid, take these two faces, bring them together. Alright, connect, 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 checkmate. This one, not so easy. Or, so there we go, it's as easy as you want it to be. 1, 2, 3, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring this in. And now, with that, I would think that My work here may be done, but with a little bit of analysis, maybe we need a loop going from here, cutting tries and connecting. Like with the knife, possibilities are endless. Now at this point, I always duplicate my head, move it to layer 0, just in case I make modifications to the point that I need that head back. Alright, next thing is right here, we have a dead ender. How to solve. Is this one necessary? Bet your butt it is. Look at that. This one looks very important. So we'll just cut along. Maybe. So then if we go into sculpt mode. See, for these sort of things, you would lay up the topology according to your need. So as long as we follow the basic rules of loops around the eyes and nose and mouth, he will be animation ready. So I'm going to take a short break, 1 moment. Alright, sorry about the pause, continuing. Now, in my time staring at this, I realized a couple of things. One, we have lost the loop going from the mouth around the nose. So let's go ahead and bring that back. So how would we do this? It would go up here. We could take these two, merge them, and that would bring it back around the tip of the nose. However, this area is now needing some work. And it's important that we make sure that we stay true to our plan. Especially now that we are coming up to the final stages of the modeling process. So, we have that. The next part is to get this part also connected to the loop around the mouth. So we'll put a cut here, connect these, make sure we have the right 4, and that is connected. And then from there, we can close that. But now we have another mystery. How do we close this part? Well, alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. Not the right verts. Fill that face. And then fill that. And while I may not completely agree with the way this is looking right here, the setup is mainly to ensure that this vert, that loop is present, that loop is present, and maybe even for this loop, we want to go a bit further. So these are some of those vertice mysteries I was telling you about. Let's see, this one goes in a circular loop, this one comes up over the nose. So if we just merge these two, we have that. Alright, we'll delete that edge. merge those two. And the topology is definitely important whenever it comes to animating. So that's why I'm still putting so much emphasis on it, even though we had it closed, it was all quads. Behind the scenes, it just was not working for me. So now we take this edge setup, these verts, slide them down, smooth them in a little bit, and then from here we'll delete that, so we have that one present now. However, right here these are stretched, so we will make sure we got the right vert, press V, not B, press V, rip that out, bring it back around, and let's see, where are we going with this? We'll just remove those for now. Add one more loop in the corner, fill that face, maybe smooth this out a little bit, and so now we only have this one that we need to connect to here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, put a loop here, merge these two, fill that with a face, and we will slide these up, edge slide, edge slide. And slide these down. Now the goal is to have the geometry relatively dense around certain areas in which I would be sculpting in a greater volume of detail. But now I'm starting to have just a little trouble, but we will make it through this. So now, where to go from here? So we have this loop going all the way around and through the nose. Maybe this is a good time to go ahead and rethink this area. I was looking at it earlier in a previous video and was still debating on exactly whether we should fix it or if we could just leave it, and it turns out that it is something we will have to still address. So now we have another issue where we just have more geometry than we probably want. And I think we built it back the way it was. So now we have our loop going completely around the eyes to the middle. We have one here, and we also have our loops around the mouth. I like to have at least 3 inner loops just going in. We will merge these two. Alt M at center. Nope. No, we don't want them to be stretching to make it to their destinations. So we can go about resolving this a couple of ways as well. my favorite way would be to use the knife tool and just see what we can get. So cut here, 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 press enter. Actually, we want the cut to go under. So if we edge slide, we can use K and cut from here to here and just work our way up the food chain. Slide it. So this loop will preserve our legacy of getting that loop. However, now we can delete this edge, fill that with a face, go here, and what is the eye asking us for? Well, the eye wants us to build one more loop or delete this loop. Well, deleting that loop may not be the best idea. In fact, I don't want to do that at all. And we still have more space here. Slide this down, slide this in, cut here, and now we have a more solid topology happening for the face now. For a moment I was beginning to worry, but no worries. And now we have the completed head. So, what else do we need to do? Well, the lips, however, don't quite appeal to me just yet. We look at this, we see that there are some shapes underneath that we may not have obtained just yet. And if we do a textured view, we see that we need to re-unwrap everything. Let's just select all of that, press X, press U, project from view, turn on the mirror, and at least now we need to turn on the textured view after re-unwrapping, and we see that we may also have some issues with, you guessed it, the normal's being flipped. It's just creepy seeing a head in the back of a head, isn't it? So let's see, right here, we want to bring this in. We want to grab this single vert, bring it in, bring it over, bring this one in, bring it over, and we're just trying to smooth the shape of the lips. Another thing is that the inside of here, right there, we probably want to add another loop and just scale that up. That'll at least add a little more volume on the lips. We also want to probably bring this one out, slide it, drag it up, Maybe bring it back out some more. A little bit of smoothing never hurt. And now we are starting to get there. So like I was saying, this video will more likely conclude the modeling portion. The next part we'll just sculpt, tune it a little bit, prepare to, lay some textures on this puppy. So that's really what the intention of this is to just do more texture painting stuff. I'm actually tired of modeling and tutorials. I want to start, painting sci-fi corridors and making spaceships and showing how those things can be done. But like I said earlier video, I think people get into 3D to either do sci-fi stuff or do fantasy stuff, but usually people lean between one of the two. I am into sci-fi, so that would be my focus as far as style or timeline or, for my own creations. And let's see what we got. So in the front view, things are looking good. If we take our model and click on wire, we see that we have some pretty solid construction. Even in here where things seem a little unusual right here. This is a loop I don't think I've ever seen another artist put, so we're going to just not put it. But why did we not put it? Well, more than likely because the amount of loops here do not match up with the amount that we need. If we were to try to add an additional loop here, it would go all the way around and under the chin. So, how do we solve this? Well, I would just put one here, fill that with quads, fill that with quads, and it appears my headset is dying, so that's my cue that this will conclude the modeling portion. And when I see y'all next, we will do the sculpting and hopefully some texturing.